Good morning. If you're in, let me know you can hear me. Hmm. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Hey, Helen, how are you doing? Good morning. Just trying to get set up. If you guys can hear me fine, let me know. If you can't, I'll try to turn up the volume a little bit. All right. You guys, I have like things that I want to discuss today, but it's like my mind is all over the place. Like, how is it doing? How is everyone's weekend? How's the weather where you are right now? It is overcasting. I think I think it's supposed to be another hurricane coming through. So kind of on lookout for that. That's what I heard. But you can definitely tell outside it's very, very you know, it's very overcasted. But it's pretty. It's not a bad day. Good morning, Laura. How are you doing? Good morning. Hi, Logan. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. I hope this week is going to be a great week. I really do. It's just been so, everything's just been so, ugh, and every time I look for like just the little happy moments, because it's kind of like, oh, good morning. If you're in, say hi. You can chat with me. That's the whole point of my lives. I love to interact with people through this channel. I was kind of apprehensive at first, and now that I've been doing it a little bit more, I really enjoy it. So if you're in the lives, chat with me. That's the whole point. The 90s. Helen, where are you? If you don't mind me asking. Hey, good morning, Doris. How are you? The 90s. I don't know what the temperature is going to be today here. Thank you. Thank you. So let me go ahead and just start by saying my name is Felicia, and I do have a crochet channel here on YouTube. I have well over 100 videos as it relates to crocheting and yarn. I do have a few giveaways on my channel, which I'll discuss a little bit about that in a second. And then I also enjoy doing planning, like gardening and things like that. I have not done as much gardening as I would have liked. I haven't posted a lot about plants this year, but I'm into that too. So sometimes occasionally you'll find some gardening on my channel kind of mixed in with the crocheting. Hey Dana, good morning. Good morning. So you'll see that on my channel as well. So if you haven't already subscribed to my channel, I would suggest that you do that if you like any of the things that I've mentioned. I try to put out content regularly, at least once or twice a week, especially if it's something that I think you guys can benefit from. I don't really put a lot of stuff just out on my channel just to do it, but if it's something that I'm working on, something that I think you guys can learn from as new crocheters, I'll definitely put that on my channel. I'm starting to be a lot more active on Instagram as well. So if you are on Instagram, if that's a platform that you use, a social media platform that you use, check the description box down below. I have my link for Instagram there. I am a little bit quicker at responding on Instagram just because it comes straight to my phone and then I can do a comment kind of like real time. So, hello, is it Orally? I'm horrible at name production, like pronouncing names. So, hello, how are you? Are you near Alabama? I'm in Florida. I'm in Florida, Abilene, Texas. Ooh, that is far from me. I'm in Florida, so right in the Panhandle. So we get a lot of the Alabama weather. We don't really get snow. It doesn't get super, super cold here, but we have had snow here, but we really don't get it. We're Florida, but like right on the cusp of Alabama. Yeah. So anyway, that's kind of the crux of what my channel is. So if you haven't subscribed, I invite you to do that. And if you want to hit the notification bell, that's just a way for you to know when I put out content. It's really helpful too if you were to enter into one of my yarn giveaways, then you know when I've announced the winner because it's usually time sensitive in terms of when you'll get recognized for winning or not. So that's oh good. Ohio on Lake Erie. Is it cold, cold, cold there? Hey, Monique, how are you? Happy Tuesday. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Um, so let me say something about my giveaways really quickly. I do not do like mass giveaways. Typically, what happens is if I'm in the store and I purchase too much of one type of yarn, I will give it away. And or sometimes I'll go in with the intention of making sure that I have enough yarn to give away as a project. So you typically won't find like me doing a mass giveaway on my channel. It's usually like I say, it's more like a sharing is caring type of give. If I have too much of something, then I try to give that to someone that I know would benefit from it. So the good thing about it is typically there's not a whole lot of people that enter. I think I usually have right around 100 people. So that gives you a lot of good chances to win. And if you ever watch any of my yarn reviews, a lot of times if I find that I can't use the yarn, I mean its entirety or whatever, I will give that yarn away too. So I don't normally like announce like, oh, I'm having this grand, and I love that. I would love to have that type of, philanthropic way of giving back a bunch of yarn. I'm just not there yet. So I really try to, give back what I can. And so if at the end of my yarn review, sometimes if you watch the video through, I'll usually say, hey, I'm going to go ahead and give this skein away. And I like that just because if you had an interest in the yarn in the first place, then you're more likely to want to win the yarn and it goes to someone that can really use it as opposed to, someone that just Googles yarn giveaway and just sees if they can win. And there's nothing wrong with that either, but I just feel like if you want to, I kind of want my giveaways to go to my subscribers, my supporters, or someone that could actually use the yarn. So just stay tuned to the channel for those type of things. And like I said, I usually link those to a yarn review. Not all of them, but sometimes. Thank you. Do I knit too? I don't knit. I've tried to knit and I'm never going to give up on trying to knit. I just don't think I have enough patience. Like one thing about me is I am consistently inconsistent. And with knitting, it seems to be where I need to stay focused on the project. So I've tried knitting, but I haven't really gave myself to I haven't really got into it yet. 64 degrees. That's warm. That's chilly. 64 degrees to me is a nice little sweater. But I love that. I love 64 degrees, but that's cold to me. Oh, thank you. Thanks, Jade. These blankets are, I do have tutorials on my channel for both of these. These are beginner friendly. Salisbury, North Carolina. Is that Salisbury, North Carolina? So this blanket here took about maybe 5 or 6 days. And I'm a slow crocheter in that I am easily distracted. Like I kind of look at crocheting has always been a hobby for me. So if there's something that I need to be doing instead of crocheting, I'll tend to do that. So this could really probably be done in a couple of days. It's a big chunky yarn, big hook size. So you probably could get this done in a few days. The same with this one. It's one stitch all the way through. It took me about a week or two. Actually, I'm lying. This took me forever because I really was not consistent with doing this project. But like I said, you can get this done really quickly. It's not a long project. On this one, yes, both of these I have tutorials. So this one is called, I'm gonna look it up and I'll tell you what I named this one. And this is just a crochet stripe blanket. And if you go on my channel and use the search feature, you can find both of these blankets. Actually, if you just go on my channel and type in crochet blankets, both of these will come up. South Bend, Indiana. I don't think I knew that, Dana. I didn't know that's where you were from. Indiana. Wow. Hi, Azalea's Wacky Crochet. Thanks for joining us. Thanks for joining us. 48 degrees, Terry. Holy crap, that's cold. So then it's just going to get colder then. Like, what's your low then? If 48 degrees is in October, ooh, I would not be prepared. What hook size did you use? Um, this one, I want to say I used an 11 or a 12 millimeter, probably a 12 millimeter. And then this one, maybe a 10 or an 8. I have to go back and look. Ooh, Notre Dame. Cool. Okay, so more tutorials on head wraps, turbans. I do have a turban on my channel. I am gonna do some more headwear, definitely. Wow. Okay, so let me just discuss what we're going to talk about today. Is no, I'm all over the place today, guys. I had all these good intentions. I actually tried a new streaming platform. I tried to use, this is probably something you guys probably could care less about, but there's a streaming platform called StreamYard, and that's different from what I'm currently using. And I was a nightmare at it. Me and my husband played with it for about an hour last night, and it was a lag and everything. So I'm gonna have to reach out to some people that may know how to use it better and help me get it, because what my intentions were, and it has been for the last couple of lives, is to show you guys like live, like pull in screens of what I want you to see. You know what I mean? Like be able to show you what I'm talking about. And I just can't do that yet because I don't have the technology. So I have a lot of fun notes written down, but they're kind of they're kind of like a mix of what I wanted to talk about, but what we're probably going to end up talking about anyway. Um, I don't know what that is. Do you know? No, I don't know what that is. I don't even know how to pronounce it. Kanga. I'm gonna butcher it if I'm sorry. That's how I feel about it. Like I tried. She said she's tried knitting before too. I just, and I'm not gonna give up. I just can't. I don't want to pick it up again and have to put it down. So when I have more time to focus on it, I'm gonna do it because I love the knit stitch. I think the way it turns out, the finished product, is beautiful. Okay, so this blanket here is called Simple Crochet Blanket. So if you type in, if you're on a browser, like if you're on your laptop or a computer, you can type in, go to my website, go to my YouTube page and type in Simple Crochet Blanket, and this will come up. If you're just like on your iPad or your phone, if you type in my name, Ahsel, and then Simple Crochet Blanket, this will come up that way as well. Thank you, Logan. Okay, so my thoughts were, I kind of want to get to know some of you guys a little better. So if you're catching this on the replay, thank you. But also answer. So if you're here with me now, answer with me. And if you're on the replay, answer in the comment section, because I go back and I read those, and it kind of helps me kind of keep an ideal of some of my subscribers, so that, it kind of creates a different type of, um, you know, vibe or whatever, because then I know who I'm helping or know who I'm, working with. So some of the questions that I came up with were, when you're crocheting, like what are your favorite drinks? Like what do you drink? What do you sip on when you're crocheting? Like I last week was like National Coffee Week, and I saw a lot of people posting about coffee, and I'm just thinking to myself, wow, I really hate coffee. And I feel like I'm so alone in that. So trying to find some other people that might think like me, what are your favorite drinks? Like what do you guys enjoy drinking? Dana went right into coffee. I can't get into coffee. I think it's because like when I was younger, my dad used to make me make coffee all the time. Like that was his go-to morning, midday, evening drink. And I got so tired of making coffee that now I'm just like, there's an aversion to it. And it's crazy because everyone loves coffee. Don't drink coffee. Tea, I like tea too. What's your favorite tea, Azalea? Diet Cherry 7 Up. I like cherry 7 Up. I don't do the diet much, but the cherry 7 Up, that's good. And you can't even find that everywhere. Water soda tea. Yeah. I'm trying to get into water. Hey Dana, I'm gonna help him. Help me. I'll make you a moderator too, if you don't mind. Um, English breakfast tea. Smoothies, I love smoothies. I love smoothies. I like hot tea in the winter and cold tea all the time. Like I'm in the South, a good, nice, tall glass of sweet tea is everything. Lollipop, yep. I'll chew gum. And you know what kind of lollipops I like? And they don't make these much, or maybe they do. I just don't buy them anymore. It's the blow pops. It's like the best of both worlds. You get the lollipop, and then when you're done, you get the gum, which is what I really love. All right. Um, yeah, Elizabeth. I know. You know what I couldn't get into was Tootsie Pops. You guys like Tootsie? You know what Tootsie Pops are? They're like lollipops, but on the inside it's chocolate. Those always confused me. Always. Okay, so drinks, you got that's cool. What about so someone mentioned lollipops. What else do you do? Like, do you eat? Is there certain things that you guys like to snack on when you're crocheting? Like sometimes I like candy just because it kind of keeps my hands going, but I'm also, eating at the same time. Um, Peanuts. Yeah. My husband eats peanuts every single night. Like that's his thing. I love peanuts too. Um, Hi Anthony Bug, how are you? How are you doing? Okay. So what I wanted to really discuss besides, what we're eating and what we're drinking is when you're new to crocheting, and I'm finding that due to, the nature of where everyone is right now, a lot of people are still homebound, a lot of people are looking at new things to do, and I'm finding that there are new crocheters. So I like to kind of discuss maybe some things to help out the new crocheters. You know what I mean? Like what is like your favorite stitch? What stitch would you suggest a new crocheter to learn? You know what I mean? Like there's so many. And honestly, when you first learn crocheting, you're not looking at it from like a stitch standpoint. You're not saying, "Oh, I want to learn how to do a double crochet stitch." But if you had to teach a new crocheter like a stitch for the very first project, what would that be? Deluxe mixed nuts. The deluxe mixed nuts. She said her husband loves deluxe mixed nuts. Those are like, the almonds and cashews, right? All of them mixed together. Those are good. For me, when I'm into my projects, I need no distractions. I hear you. I think that's why I kind of pop gum or a piece of candy so that I can just kind of, because like I said earlier, I'm so easily, it's like, ooh, squirrel. Like I'm that girl. I'm always distracted. I'm always distracted. Foundation stitches. I agree with you. I think as a new crocheter, it's important for if you, I'm talking directly to you if you're a new crocheter and you're looking for what should you do. So a single crochet stitch is initially a good stitch, but let me back into that one. Half double crochet stitch and a double crochet stitch. If you can learn those three main stitches, single, half double crochet, and double crochet stitch, you have really opened up the whole gamut for things that you can do. I wouldn't suggest learning like on a single crochet stitch for a couple of reasons. Like I think you need to know how to do it, but oftentimes, unless you're working with a big chunky yarn, single crochet stitches to me are just harder to see. Especially if you're working with like a 4-weight yarn and a 5 millimeter crochet hook. When I'm saying 4-weight, like a thinner yarn and a smaller crochet hook, the single crochet stitch is kind of harder to recognize. And as a new person crocheting, when if someone says count your stitches or they say how many rows do you have, it's a little bit harder to see that. But it is a stitch that you need to know. Um, and then also too with the single crochet stitch, not single crochet stitch, but yeah, it was something I was gonna say about the single crochet stitch. Hmm, I lost my thought. But yeah, so if you learn those three, then you can really go into like the combination. So for instance, I don't know. I'm trying to see if I have a project over here with a single crochet stitch. I don't know. I don't know. I think it's important though that you just learn those three. And then once you have those three down, and then say you want to make a blanket or something, there are some really cool patterns or cool combination stitches that like take you up to the next notch almost immediately. You know what I mean? Like you'll look like you went from just learning how to crochet to like you've been crocheting for years just by putting those three combinations into some type of order or just some type of pattern. So what I'm saying is like the lemon peel stitch, right? That's like a combination of the single crochet stitch and the double crochet stitch. So you work a single double, but in doing that, it creates like a little, almost like the outside of a lemon peel. And because it has that added texture to your project, it looks like you like really know what you're doing. Like automatically, like, oh my God, that's so beautiful because you kind of added a little bit more texture and dimension into your project, you know? And then also, like another one that has really good combination is the have you heard of the how am I saying hedge sneege snedge sedge sedge it's like hedge but it's sedge. I'm doing that on a blanket now, and that is another also combination of single, half double, and double crochet stitches that you kind of work together, and it just makes a really beautiful cluster of stitches. And like I say, if you know the beginning three, you can just do so many, you know? Hello, how are you? Maya. I'm gonna butcher your name. I'm sorry. It starts with an A. Hi, how are you doing? Thanks for joining. um, what's another fun grouping of stitches that you guys like to work besides like the basic three? I mentioned the lemon peel and the sedge. What's another one that a beginner could like work on? Oh, the shell stitch. Those I like the shell stitch too. I like that one really for like borders too, like the border of a blanket. And the half double crochet stitch, absolutely. This right here is a scarf that I created, and it's hard because I'm in the lighting, but that's made with a large crochet hook and the half double crochet stitch. So you can really make full projects just by knowing, the basic stitches, then rounds and things like that. But those are really like my favorite. You like the front post and the back post? I like the front post better than the back post, even though you can do them both. And I think they're perfect for borders around hats. The back post can be a little bit, you have to think a little bit for me. I did a project using the so it's like the front post, back post, or whatever. But I like that stitch. I think it makes any project look even more spectacular. Absolutely. You love Dana, you love the granny, like the granny square in general, or like the granny square blanket, My I like this right here. So this is a granny, but I love because at the end it's kind of got the shell. You probably cannot see that, guys. You can. It's washed out, but it's got the shell stitches at the bottom too. The granny stitch. You like the granny stitch too? You know what? I love the stitch for the fact that it's like almost like the it's like the heartbeat of the crochet community. Like everyone does that one. And I like it for the nostalgia of all of it. But for me, it's like, I can't deal with all these holes. Like, I just rather like have something a little bit more cozy, but I do like it. You know what I mean? I feel like every crocheter needs to know how to do it. It's icon, exactly. It's icon status. It's like everyone has to know that. Ooh, corner to corner. Do you like that one a lot, Helen? I've seen that one a lot, and I've been trying to figure out how I want to video a tutorial for that that's very clear for beginners. I feel like when I see tutorials on the corner to corner, there's a lot of assumptions already made that you know how to do certain things. But I really am trying to figure out how to make it where if you just started crocheting and maybe you've only made one or two projects, that then you could kind of do this one. And I'm just working on that. I really am. Yeah, and that's what I like about crochet too. It's really like a working art. You know what I mean? Like it's always changing. Every time I think I've seen everything, someone comes up with something even more fabulous. You know what I mean? Like I seen a lady um do a blanket that had like a full face. Like it was someone's face in the blanket. And I was just like, wow, like merging those two things was quite amazing. Yeah. You left corner to corner too? Oh my god, I need to get with the program, huh? Your mom inspired you to knit. That is so cool. What are some like what is I guess I use it for baby shower gifts. Oh, okay, I see. Yeah, that is a showstopper, I'm so sure, because they look so beautiful. Those corner to corner blankets look amazing. They really, really do. What are some like assumptions that you guys get as crocheters? Like when I first started crocheting, people were always like, "Oh my God, that's such a grandma thing to do." Like, and because I started, like I said, in college, um, and I had a desire before that, but that's when I actually found someone that could show me. And what were like that was like one of the first things people were like, "Why do you want to crochet? Like that's such a granny thing to do." What kind of I guess misconceptions or uh, what do you think people say about the crochet community? What have you heard? I know. Even when people tell me I was like old lady, I'm like, I just have an old soul. I'm not an old lady. But what's crazy about that whole thing is like our grandmothers who crochet didn't start crocheting probably when they were grandmothers. Like they had to start at some point and they just became grandmothers. And now grandma is such a relative term because you can be a grandmother at like 40. You know what I mean? And that certainly isn't making me like think grandma. So it's really funny when people are like, "Oh yeah, you you're such a grandma because you crochet." I'm like, "Okay, yeah." Blankets, yeah, blankets are the only thing that we can make. Or can you make me a blanket? Like that's just something we just can whip up in 2 seconds. Like, yeah, sure, don't worry, just sit right there. We can get you a blanket. Like it doesn't take forever. I have an old soul. Hi, good morning, Claudette. How are you doing? We're just chatting about some of the misconceptions or um, the things that people think about crocheters. Like, what are some of the assumptions? Another thing that people always say is, um, that you have a cat or something, or like I don't have any cats, but I love crocheting, and I don't have any issues with people that do have cats. But it's just funny how they always put cats in crocheting. Like, I guess it's because cats love yarn. Maybe I don't know. I don't know. Some people definitely behaved as if that was I decided to teach myself crochet as an alternate hobby when I lost my sojo for a while. Yeah, absolutely. And that's another thing too, like crocheting is not yeah, that's another thing too. People always assume that you have so much time on your hand. Like, oh my gosh, I wish I had all the time in the world to sit around and crochet. And I'm like, well, it's not really like you're sitting around and crocheting like you've made time. Everyone has the same 24 hours in the day. It just how do you choose to use your time? You know what I mean? And for me, I enjoy crocheting. I love to see the finished product. I love the instant gratification of making small projects. I love to see how people respond when they get something that I've created or they've, whatever. It's like walking art to me. So when people say things like, yeah, I wish I had time to crochet. I'm like, well, you probably do. You just might spend your time doing something else that you consider a hobby? Yeah, it's crazy how people make that assumption, like you like you don't really have anything else to do but crochet, and it's like, no, this is just kind of what I choose to do with my free time that we all may or may not have based on your life and what you've got going on. But let's be real, we all have 24 hours, right? So how you choose is how you choose, right? So it's funny that people make that assumption that we just have nothing to do but crochet. And that's not true. It's not true. Well, I do think it's relaxing. It's not, the only thing. So, what would be like the first projects that you would suggest for a beginner? You know what I mean? If you have a beginner crocheter and or you're going to teach somebody how to crochet, what would be something that you would teach them? Like besides because I really feel like people get into this community in this space and the first thing they want to make is a blanket. And I think while that's great that you want to make a blanket, it's such a big undertaking from someone that just started crocheting unless you're working with like I say a chunkier yarn that's a little bit more forgiving, that can work up quicker, you know. And I think it's fun to make blankets, but what would be like a nice small project to get someone engaged with the art of crocheting, um, and they won't just like put it down really quickly? She says, "All you do is make blankets every day." Do you make blankets every day? Is there any truth in that statement, Jade? Uh, I think dishcloths are as a good one to start and scarves. I absolutely agree with you. I think I always tell people to start with a scarf. I was teaching my nieces to crochet. My brother has three girls, and they were like, "Auntie, can you show me how to crochet?" And they, initially they wanted me to make a blanket. I'm like, "No, let's start with a chain scarf." You can do that either with your finger or crochet hook, and then we'll move you into an actual scarf, like a cowl. We'll move you up. Let's not start with the blanket. Let's go for the beanie hat. Yes, the beanie hat's a good one too. Yeah. Hi, how are you doing? I will mess up your name as well. I hope you're doing well. Beanies are good. They're good too if you're because you can make beanies in more than one way. So if you aren't good at working in a round yet, because I feel like something you start crocheting, working in a round could be a little harder if you've never worked in a round before. But you can make a beanie like by just, of course, making one big rectangle, folding it over, sewing it, and then stitching up the top. Which, what's crazy is out of all the things on my channel, I don't have a beanie created like that on my channel. And I think I need to go back and rectify that just because as a beginner, that circle thing can throw you off. You know what I mean? If you're not good at it. Placemat, that's another good one. Yeah. I think placemats are good. um, I'm self-taught and I started with a dishcloth, coasters, and chunky slippers. That's a good one, Terry. Chunky slippers is a really good way to start too. I feel like when you make small projects that you can wear, like I always feel like that's a graduation step. Like you start with your dishcloths and then you go to something that you can put on. Like it's just something about being able to say, "Hey, I made this." I think that's so cool and so rewarding. And the thing I like about kind of going back to dishcloths and little scrubbies, um, are they're not on display. So you really can make a good, like you can get good at it and you can use them in the way they're supposed to be used and are not like sitting out where people can judge you. Because sometimes that's where it gets kind of, oh, you crochet that, and they're kind of turning their head to the side, like, oh yeah, it's kind of cricket. But a dishcloth, it's all about the practice and it's still functioning, you can still use it at the end, right? Because no one's like judging your dishcloth or washcloth. Callie, hello. You're listening and working. Cool. How are you doing? Good morning. Good morning. um, Yeah, I feel the same way. I like making the cozy socks, the infinity scarves. This one here, I think I started to bring this up. This is a simple cowl that I made with that. Have you guys seen the Bernat extra blanket yarn? So it's thicker than the regular Bernat yarn, which is like this type of yarn. It's thicker, but this is an easy project for beginners, and you don't need a lot of yarn. You just need a big crochet hook and the chunky yarn, and it's perfect for, it's almost too hot for Florida. I can only wear this maybe twice in January because it's not quite cold enough. But I imagine if you lived in just a place where it's a little bit cooler than Florida, then this is a simple, fun project that you can do. Thank you. Look at Kelly. You're getting all the love, girl. Yes. Yes. Verna loves dishcloths. Yes, that's a very true statement. um, but yeah, these are fun to make for beginners. Also, excuse me, this one I made is another scarf. Like scarves are so, honestly, I feel like that's where you should start. A scarf, it's like the best of both worlds. You're learning and you're able to wear it at the end, you know? That's what I want to learn how to make. You know, I had a goal at the end of the year to make like a teddy bear or anything like that, like any a little doll face. I that was a goal. Going live was a goal, and then making origami was my next goal. And the year is not over. So if you guys see me with that, I'll probably do it on like my Insta stories or somewhere. Just clap me up because that is a goal that I want to know how to do. Kelly, I thought the same thing. Dana never sleeps. You're an amazing. I need to get with you to figure out what you do to stay awake and alert. Because if you guys don't know, Triple C and Dana, Triple C and Dana, Lord, Triple C and Joe show, she does a lot of late night live. So if you're up late like me sometimes, I love to catch her lives because she's always going. And and it's like, well, I don't know when she sleeps. Oh, did you really? How did it come? How did it come out the bee? Was it the big chunky bee that I've seen kind of circulating, or just was it a little bee? Like a little one. Okay, let's see what else I have on here that I want to discuss. Are there any other assumptions that you guys get when because you're a crocheter? And then we've talked about like the projects that you would do. And I would I'm with you guys. Pillows is another thing that I didn't hear anybody mention, but pillows as a new crocheter, pillows are also cool to create as well. It teaches you a new pattern. And then at the end, if you just, make two that are the same, that's going to make sure that you have your gauge right. You can sew them together and then stuff it with anything really. You can use cotton fill or whatever, but if you have anything laying around, you can stuff it inside the pillow. And that's another cool thing to do or whatever. So, how long have you guys been crocheting, if you don't mind me asking? And how much time do you spend crocheting? A Grafghan pillow. That's what I was talking about with the face on the project. I saw someone do that, and I think it is called Grafganning. And I think that is super cool, honestly. I'm a visual learner too, Terry. I can read a pattern, but I'm always like in my mind, like once I read it, I'm like, okay, I wish there was a video to go along with what I just read. You know what I mean? Like I'll figure it out, but I'm a visual learner. You've been doing it for 2 years. You're really good for have been doing it for 2 years. Monique. Your stuff is really good. 42 years, Helen. Oh my goodness. That is so cool. And Terry, you just started last winter. How much have you done? Like since you started, Terry, have you done a lot of different things? Or are you still kind of doing one thing? Every chance you get. Yeah, I'm like Jade, I'm like that too. I crochet once I have time to do it, but I don't stay focused. Like I said, I just and honestly, YouTube and my website and Instagram has really helped me kind of channel because what happens is I'll be like, oh, I want to make that. Or and don't get me started when I go into a yarn store. I really think that there's a conspiracy to make me spend money that I don't have every time I go into the yarn store. Like I really think people are getting together and saying, let's make this yarn that only Felicia will want and then I go in there and I buy it. And I'm like, why did I buy the yarn every single time? So I enjoy crocheting a lot. But it's hard for me to stay focused because there's so much. People are so creative. The yarn is getting prettier. What am I supposed to do with this? Like, come on, help me, people. Uh, oh, you'll sleep soon. But I didn't do too much because I live in Texas and didn't have any inspiration with the. I feel the same way, Azalea. After work and lunch, yes. I didn't know. Do summers off with me. Yeah. Yes, she's a rock star. Crocheting helps you stay focused. That's good. That's the thing. And Florida has light season, so I tend to crochet starting now. And then I'll crochet all the way up until around March or April, and then it's all about planting herbs and tomatoes and everything switches for me. But because I do the YouTube now, I have to start crocheting in the off season more so that I can have patterns and tutorials ready for the beginners that want to learn how to crochet. So I kind of feel like there is a part of me that has to do it more, round the clock. But for just my enjoyment, it's usually during the winter and fall months. Stop. I don't care how much. You know, that has been a thing. I haven't gone out as much to look for yarn, which has been a blessing and a curse. I've started shopping online. I didn't want to, but Lion Brand, what was happening is not Lion Brand, but Joann's Fabric, which is where I buy a lot of my yarn from. They were doing this thing where you could get it online, of course, but not in the store, or you could pick it up in the store. They like bring it out to your car. But if you ever go inside, it's not as much yarn in there. So it's like I was able to find the stuff online more. And then that's kind of where I ended up staying, like just shopping online because I know I'm getting the same price. I can use my coupon, all of that. So I thought it was going to help slow me down, but then once I turned to online, I'm back in the same boat. You need downtime and for relaxation. Yes. And those yarn stores or online stores have subliminal messages telling us to buy all they do. It's like popcorn at the movie theater. I'm telling you. It's funny because my sister still lives in Texas, and when I do stuff, I have to pick my yarn for their type of weather. I know. Yeah, I bet. Hi, Marva. Good morning. How are you doing? We're really just chit chatting about what are we talking about, guys? Yarn and how long everyone's been crocheting and how often do they crochet. And I started off talking about, things to get beginners started, like some beginner projects that beginners can do. So if you want to contribute to any of that, please feel free. So let me kind of recap just because if someone's watching this in replay they're like, what are we talking about here? So the thing mostly I wanted to know if you don't mind in the comment section later, or if you haven't already, what's your favorite drink and what do you like to snack on when you're crocheting? How long have you been crocheting and for like how long? And what beginner stitches or combination of stitches do you recommend for beginners? So aside from them learning the beginning stitches, single, half double, and double crochet, So if you're a beginner and you're crocheting, I would start with my channel, of course, but there are so many other fabulous channels out there that show you how to do those three main stitches and then learn those. Once you have those down, apply them to specific projects. So if you're brand new, I would start with like a scarf. We discussed starting doing dishcloths, placemats, also blankets are fun, but just keep in perspective that they take longer. And there is a learning curve with blankets because you have to know how to count your stitches just to make sure that you stay even. And then what else did we discuss? That's pretty much it, I think. Where are you, Ohio? Good morning. How are you? Um, you know what I've been seeing this ice yarn? Kelly Crochet's Adventure. She did an unveiling of some ice yarn that she bought. And let me tell you, my last live, someone mentioned ice yarn. And then followed up was Kelly's unveiling of her ice yarn that she purchased, which now I'm thinking I need to get ice yarn. So I need to go figure out what this is all about. I went on their website. It looks like they buy it, like you buy it in bulk. And I think I don't know. And I thought I could get it from like Amazon, which is like my go-to, but it was quite more expensive than if I would have went on their website. So anyway, if anybody has any more insight besides Kelly, because Kelly, you already got me wanting to buy it. What is this ice yarn all about and what is the draw to it? I don't understand. Besides it being really pretty. Is it the cost? Is it because you can buy it in bulk and it's cheaper? Is that what it is? Online sales in bulk with the yarns that are exclusive to only online. Oh, okay. Hmm. Cincinnati. Is it cold? Did I ask you if it was cold there? Okay, guys. Well, I'm gonna make sure I got everybody's questions. I'm just kind of scrolling back up to make sure. Looks like it. Okay. And did I leave anything out? Okay, so the yarn is cheaper, but the shipping. So basically you want to buy a lot to get the bang for your buck because of shipping. Is ice yarn like a premier type yarn? Like is it a different quality? Like would it is it better than the yarn that I can get right here locally in that way? She said good morning and she likes to have coffee. Is this Zora? Um, you've only been crocheting for a few months. Oh, cool. Well, welcome to the crochet community. I love yarn more than the work. Yes, yarn is very satisfying. Absolutely. Okay. Yeah, I haven't ordered it either. I'm really debating if I should though. I'm really honestly after seeing Kelly ooh and ah, Kelly, if you're listening, if I buy ice yarn, it's because of you. Just so you know that. Just know that. So anyway, guys, is there anything else going on that we want to discuss before I get off? I do feel like this one was a little bit all over the place. So um yeah, that happens sometimes. What is my favorite yarn? I love Bernat yarn, the Bernat blanket yarn. I love the Mandala ombre yarn, the ombre one. That's one of my favorites, and I like I would have to go with those two right off the bat. I like the charisma yarn too, but it's not. I like it too. I like the way it works out for blankets. Thank you. You have a wonderful week too, Monique. And I got your email, and I'll handle everything today. Some of the yarn is familiar, but they're blingy yarns I haven't seen. Oh, blingy. Oh, blingy. Blingy's good. Blingy's good. Oh, wow. I like blingy. Put a stitch mark on your stitch if you put it down. Helen, that's a great tip. She says a good tip is to put a stitch marker on your stitch if you put your work down. Is that just for, is that a knitting tip? I use it in crocheting, but does that work in knitting as well? Kelly, Kelly, is the texture different? She says you have to get ice yarn at least once. Says Kelly. Oh, I didn't see your Instagram message. I was referring to the email, but yes, I did get it, and yes, I'm gonna take care of you. Crochet. Yes, I love that too. I don't. When you are working a project, guys, I don't even think I have a project here. Let me see. Um, let me see what she. Helen's saying like if you're working a project and you're getting to a place where you're about to. This is a bad example, but you would just put the stitch marker in where your last stitch was, and that will keep everything from slipping. This is not a good example, but that's what she was talking about. Isn't that right, Kelly? I meant Kelly. Helen, is that what you're saying? Oh, okay. See, Dana, she's making you do it too. Kelly, do you see what you're doing? Dana needs to get ice yarn now as well. Okay, yeah, okay, so cool. Yeah, I agree with you. That's a good tip, Helen. Very good tip. I didn't know that at first actually, and I don't know if I seen it somewhere or someone told me it, but it makes a difference because the yarn doesn't come, all your hard work doesn't come unraveled when you put the stitch marker there. That's a good tip. Absolutely. The blingy yarn, different texture. Yes, hurry, get some. Ha ha ha. Yes, that's funny. Okay, guys. The goal is not for me to talk for an hour. I don't know how that always happens. Okay, did I miss anything else? Let's see. You guys are great. I really enjoyed communicating. And again, if you're catching this in the replay, please leave a comment so that I can chat with you too, because the timing could just be a little off and you might be watching me. And also, you know what would be good? And I should have said this at the beginning. If you're catching this in a replay, if you can tell me the time that you're watching it, like if you can give me an estimate, maybe I can do a separate live. Like maybe I can do more than one. I've seen people do quite a few lives. I just don't want to be out here if it's not going to be engaging for you all. So yeah, just let me know. Let me know. Okay, guys. Well, I hope everyone has a wonderful work week, and I plan to be back here, God willing, next Tuesday at the same time, and hopefully I'll have more clarity to my thoughts and what we want to discuss. I really, really, really want to be able to pull in different examples so that way you guys have a good benchmark to go back to. So that is still the goal. I just need to figure out how to do that. I may have to start printing stuff out and like holding it up. Oh, one more thing. I hope I didn't miss you guys. I am participating in a book. I will say this in the very, very, very beginning. But if you follow me on Instagram, you've already seen the information. If you have subscribed to my not subscribe, but if you checked out my website, which is just my name, Ahsel Ann, I have information about the blog. And basically what it is a way for you guys to get free patterns every day. It started October 1st and it goes to November the 1st. And it's with Itching for Some Stitching and Ned and Mimi. They're the ones that are hosting it and I'm just participating with them. So it's not just Christmas stuff. It's called Christmas blog pop, but it's not just Christmas items. It's I think there was like 30 crocheters that got together and they just came up with some really cool projects. and they're offering their pattern for 1 day only for free, and you can get them off of Rivalry, but you have to get the code off of the website. So if you go to my website, you will see the link to it, okay? But it looks something like this. And this isn't all of the patterns, it's just a few. This one here is mine and it's cute. But if you are interested in that, it's just a really easy way to get PDF printable patterns for free every single day until November 1st. But the catch is you can only get one pattern for that day. And once once that day has ended, then you can't get the pattern for free any longer. But you can buy it as a bundle if you want. So if you wanted to just get all the patterns at one time, I think they have like a 90% markdown and you can purchase all of the bundles, but you could also just go and get it every single day for free. So far I have gotten, I think we're on our 6th day. So I've gotten 6 patterns for free. So if that's something that interests you, go to ahsel.com, and the first thing that you'll see when you get on my website is this information, or you can go to my Instagram, and in my stories every single day, I will put the person who's featured just so you guys have an easier way to get it. So that was my sharing is caring moment. There's nothing in that really that I don't think you could benefit from if you like crocheting from a pattern. And like I say, they're free if you kind of stick with it and get it every single day. So that's something I want to share. Alrighty, so everyone else have a wonderful day. Let me see. I forgot started here in Romans, but I haven't finished it yet. 9:57 here. Oh, okay. Kelly. Flow. Thanks, Claudette. Just making sure I didn't miss anything. Yes, I'll put my website here. And it's also going to be in the link at the bottom of the video. So it's this ahselan.com. That's my website. And what time? My chat next week will be at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And then, of course, I always look at the replay. It just takes a couple of days for, I think, it to go where you can actually, I don't know how that works, but if you catch it in replay, please use comment too so I can just talk with you. Okay, guys. Well, have a wonderful, I hope I didn't miss anything. That's my website. Ahsel Crochet is my Instagram. And over here is 10. Where's over here? Azalea. Is that where you're from, you mean? Finley Market. Oh, you're talking to Kelly. Ohio. Okay, I gotcha. Isn't that where Dana's from, Ohio? Did I miss that? I'm trying to see. I don't remember. Righty. Okay, guys. All right. I'm gonna go. I'm still reading the comments, making sure that I didn't miss anything. I'll see you guys next Tuesday. If you have any topics you guys want me to discuss, make sure you leave them too, and that way we can make sure we have good flow, good conversation, all of that stuff. Oh, Indiana. Okay. I'm sorry. Indiana. Okay. All right, you guys. Have a wonderful week, and I will see you guys next Tuesday. Thanks.